Hey there, time travelers! Ready for another nostalgia trip back to the past? Hop in, because in today's video, we are traveling back to a time when we all yelled "Booyah!" and when Slade was the most stressful part of our lives.
This is only the beginning. If you join me.
Just practicing my booyahs. Boo 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 yeah 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 booyah!
The Teen Titans cartoons that aired in the early 2000s on Cartoon Network is still the most talked about superhero show to this day, and there is a reason for that. The character arcs in that show were phenomenal, and despite them fighting superpowered beings, all of the characters went through real-life problems that were very relatable to all of us. For instance, Beast Boy's storyline with Terra is, to this day, one of the saddest stories about love and friendship I've seen on primetime TV, and interestingly enough, we recently came across a theory that, in a way, gave us a bit of closure to what originally felt like an unfinished story. Today, we are going to be discussing a theory about Terra and how there might have been a version of her that Beast Boy simply made up as a coping mechanism. This theory about Terra and Beast Boy was brought to our attention through a Reddit thread in which a Reddit user, no talent here, explained that the final episode of the Teen Titans series that aired on Cartoon Network in the early 2000s was not exactly what it seemed. While many who saw the episode titled Things Change believed that they had witnessed an odd reunion between Beast Boy and Terra, who we all assumed had perished in a previous episode. It was an episode that seemed to bring a bit of closure to both the Beast Boy/Terra storyline as well as Terra's individual storyline. But this Reddit theory suggests that the entire interaction was simply a figment of Beast Boy's imagination, helping him cope with the loss of Terra. It's believed that Terra rejecting Beast Boy and going on to live a normal life with no recollection of her past was all something that his mind made up to help him move forward and to stop hurting from what was such a tragic loss to him. It's a really interesting theory, and when you hear all the evidence, I think you might be surprised at how obvious this was, but we were all just too young and naive to realize that's what the writers were doing. In case you don't remember what happened to Terra, her story essentially came to an end at the season 2 finale of Teen Titans. It was during the part 2 episode where Terra renounced Slade as her master, only to end up being controlled by him as if she was his puppet. Terra eventually managed to break Slade's hold over her though, and helps the Titans to defeat him. Sadly, his plan had already gone too far, and the entire city was going to be consumed by lava. Terra knew what she had to do though, and she encouraged everyone around her to leave as she used her powers to try to control the flow of the lava. She used everything that she had to stop the volcano from destroying the town, but sadly, in the process, she was turned to stone. In order to honor her sacrifice, the Titans placed a plaque in front of her that had Terra, a Teen Titan, a true friend, engraved on it. This was basically the last we saw of Terra until the very last episode of the show. The episode titled Things Change aired on January 16th, 2006, and was the final episode of what ended up being the final season of Cartoon Network's Teen Titans. The episode begins following the team's victory over the Brotherhood of Evil, and as the Titans get ready to unwind by watching a movie and eating some sour candies, they end up being attacked by a new foe.
I definitely don't remember that being there. Titans, go!
It's during this fight that Beast Boy believes that he can see Terra in the crowd of people. This prompts Beast Boy to separate himself from his friends as they go in pursuit of the enemy that attacked them. Beast Boy ended up heading into Slade's old lair, the only one that contained the statue of Terra, and to his surprise, he saw that it was missing. There was no statue to be found, which led him to believe that he had actually seen Terra in the crowd. After returning to the tower, Beast Boy is questioned by the team as to why he left them to go off on his own. Right away, he explained that he saw Terra, and this not only shocks the rest of the Titans, but sort of leaves them in disbelief. Beast Boy, on the other hand, is certain of what he saw, and continues his search for Terra on his own. He searched all over for Terra, and after coming up empty at a few of the spots that they used to visit, he decided to go to a local restaurant where the two went on their first date at. As he sat there in his sorrow eating pizza, who should walk in the door other than the exact person he was looking for, Terra. Only it wasn't her. It turned out only to be someone who sort of looked like her at first glance. Finally though, after walking around more, he ended up spotting Terra and sees that she is a high school student at one of the local schools. Beast Boy got Terra's attention and tried to ask her what happened, but quickly noticed that she didn't have any of her memories. So he then did everything that he could to get her to remember their past together. But over the course of the episode, it became clear that she wasn't going to be able to remember anything at all, and all of the pestering that he was doing was clearly getting on her nerves. At the end of the day, Terra explained to Beast Boy that he was the Teen Titan, not her. All she wanted was to study her classes and lead a normal life. She then walked off into the crowded hallway toward her class. Beast Boy ultimately accepted that whether it was really Terra or not, she wanted to live a normal life and didn't want to be with him or the Titans. He accepted this eventually, and the episode ended with him running off to help his team save the day once again. Now, that episode was chock full of evidence and symbols that supports the idea of this version of Terra simply being a figment of Beast Boy's imagination that his subconscious created as a coping mechanism for him. First off, let's take a look at this version of Terra. Despite her not remembering her past and acting as if she was just a normal girl, there weren't any new details about her life revealed to us. And though that wouldn't be too strange if she hadn't changed so much, seeing how she was practically an entirely different person, you might have expected them to dig a bit deeper into her current life or living situation. Perhaps they didn't bother going into that because this version of Terra never existed in the first place. Then you need to consider the fact that Beast Boy was the only member of the Titans to actually see Terra walking around.
Terra!
None of the other members of the team interacted with her, saw her, or even went to check to see if her statue was still there in the cave. The only time we see Terra, or her statue being gone, is through Beast Boy's perspective, which most likely means that the Terra we saw in Things Change only existed in Beast Boy's mind. It was almost heartbreaking watching Beast Boy try and explain to the team that he saw Terra, while having them stare back in a pity sort of way. And if you remember, Robin had the perfect response to support this theory. He said, "Sometimes you want to see something that isn't there," and as he said that, the animator changed the camera angle of the scene to focus on Robin, as if to emphasize his statement. Meanwhile, as Beast Boy went on to explain everything he saw, or didn't see when it comes to the statue, Starfire, Raven, and Cyborg all appear to be confused, and even a bit concerned with their friend who was clearly going through something. And then we got the heartbreaking goodbye. Toward the end of the episode, Terra tells Beast Boy, "The girl you want me to be is just a memory." The two then essentially make their peace as Terra leaves to get to class on time. It was at that time that Terra turned back to face Beast Boy as she slowly backed up into the crowd and disappeared into the darkness. And then she is gone without a single trace of her left behind, as if she never existed in the first place. The Reddit user concluded this theory by explaining that all in all, our hero simply wanted to see Terra one more time, so badly that his mind made up his own version of her. And after believing that he saw his friend in a crowded area, he imagined her being there with him in a scenario where she rejected him to live a normal life, as if nothing bad ever happened. This rejection and her disappearance into the crowd were essentially just Beast Boy's mind helping him to accept a future without his lost friend, but one where she is able to live a happy life. Meanwhile, in reality, Terra was still considered to be deceased and her statue most likely still remained exactly where it had been left in the first place. Though this is one of the more depressing Teen Titans theories that I've come across, it's really hard to deny all the evidence here. I went back and watched Things Change, and though I can still see how it could really be Terra in that episode, it almost made sense watching the episode with the idea of this Terra not being the real one in mind. And it also added a strange sense of closure that I didn't really get the first time watching this episode as a child. Interestingly enough, there is also a fan theory that almost directly opposes the imagination theory, and it also goes into everything that we saw in Things Changed. In this theory, it's believed that Terra did, in fact, die after being encased in stone and becoming her own statue. And at the time of her death, her evil doings outweighed her sacrifice, and her soul ended up being trapped in hell. But when Slade opened up the gates of hell, the theory suggests that Terra's soul ended up escaping and finding her stone-entombed body. Then after returning to it, her body turned back to its normal form, and she escaped the area and went into hiding while the rest of the world fell into chaos. Then, following the events of Raven restoring the world to its normal state, Terra saw this moment as her chance to start over, thus settling down and becoming a simple high school student and leaving her past and her powers behind her. That's why, when she is discovered and confronted by Beast Boy, she decided to act as if she had no idea what the Green Hero was talking about, and pretended to be someone other than Terra. But she also wanted to give her friend a bit of closure, so upon her goodbye to him, she looked back and smiled one last time, hopefully giving Beast Boy one final good memory of Terra before attempting to live a perfectly normal life. That's not all though. There is one last theory about the episode Things Changed, and this one is far more simple than the previous two. But this theory also sees that Terra was actually restored and Beast Boy did see her that day. The two would interact only when she ended up telling Beast Boy that she wasn't Terra. This time, she meant it. You see, the theory suggests that Terra was simply her alias, and not her real name. And since she didn't remember her past at all due to amnesia of sorts, she would have no recollection of ever being called Terra, or anything else that happened to them in her past as a superpowered villain. As we said though, this theory is very simple, and while it could quite possibly be true, it's not my favorite of the bunch. No matter what way you look at it, Beast Boy has had a very depressing life, even though he is part of one of the most iconic crime-fighting teams in comic book history. In this case, though, at least some of the theories involve the Titan giving himself some sort of closure. What do you think, though? Which of these theories about the final episode of Teen Titans is the most accurate? Or do you have your own theory about the episode? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear from you all. That's all for today. Remember, if you enjoyed today's nostalgic conspiracy, be sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss the chance to travel back through time.